Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our LGFP webinar for October. Our webinar today is AI and Automation Mindset and Awareness with Data Interactive. This is our final webinar for the year, so we hope that everybody gets some really good information out of this. There is opportunities to ask questions, and you'll see on your screen there the live Q&A button, so you'll be able to use that. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting today. For me, here in the Ipswich area, that's the Yagara, Yugara and Yugarapul people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And I'd also like to extend that acknowledgement to traditional owners of the land wherever you may be joining us from today, and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are joining in. Our presenters from Data Interactive is Michael Flenderker. He's the founder and CEO, and the CEO of Human Pixel, and Michael Kearney, Data Interactive's Customer Success Executive.
Morning, everyone.
So we, as I said, we've got our Q&A button down the bottom. So we've got questions towards the end, so just submit those, and time permitting, we'll get to them. If we do run out of time, then we'll be able to pass those on and provide answers subsequently. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand over to the two Michaels to do their presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tony and Kylie and the organising committee. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us for your last webinar of the year. It's a great privilege to be here. Look, we'll introduce ourselves in just a moment, but we'd like to make the session interactive and really make sure we engage with you so much that you can take some really meaningful ideas and thoughts away that you can implement in your organisation. For us, there's a whole lot of value in sharing the awareness and mindset that's needed to embrace automation, because we know it will lead to productivity gains and just real tangible benefits for businesses. So we really enjoy these presentations, and once again, it's a privilege to be here. I would like to put a few questions to the audience today to get us engaged and thinking. And the first question is, what if you could reclaim hundreds of hours in your year simply by identifying and automating the right processes? What if the biggest roadblock to your organization's efficiency isn't actually a skill shortage and resource constraints, but it may be just maybe the processes that you overlooked and thought they're not automatable? And lastly, what if the key to increased productivity, which we're all chasing in our business and in your businesses, I'm sure, what if the key to productivity, the increase of substantial gains, is actually hidden in plain sight? It's in the processes that are around you, the manual repetitive tasks that you do. And if only you could understand a little bit more about intelligent automation and what's possible, you could unlock those productivity gains. With that in mind, I ask you to think of three more things. How many hours could you and your team save with the right automation in place? Which processes would you target? Daily, weekly, monthly processes to unlock the value that you know is within the team that you have hired. And an important last question, has your team ever missed an opportunity due to the fact that they're stuck in the manual processes that consume us in many of our businesses, where humans are acting like robots rather than humans acting like humans and collaborating, critically thinking, and seeing how they can unlock more value, in your case, for many of your ratepayers? Today, Mike and I are here to help encourage you, energize you, and show you how you can actually embrace in a tangible way the opportunities that AI and automation provide for businesses, not just here in Australia, but around the world. And the most interesting fact that we'll come to shortly is how this digital transformation isn't just happening in one industry or one country. It's happening in every industry and every country all at the same time, due to the recent events in the space that we now call AI, but really it's an extension of the AI and automation landscape. So look, we'll get into the presentation now, but I would encourage the audience here today to consider those questions I've put to you. These are tangible, real questions with real impact, and what we're going to show you today, including some of the examples of automation that we have delivered, show you that it actually is possible to get started as soon as you're ready and you have the bandwidth to do so. So we'll jump into the presentation now. Mike is going to join me, our customer success executive. He's been with us for a number of years, and the most important reason I've asked Mike to be here today is because he has wonderful experience talking about real problems with real clients, from small councils to large councils, and also a couple of our state government entities we work with. So as we go through the presentation, you won't just get theory, you won't just get statistics. We're here to give you some tangible benefits, and Mike will share his experience as we go through some of those real life examples.
Thanks, Mike. Just looking forward to it.
Thank you, mate. So let's just share that screen now. Okay, Tony or Mike, could you just confirm everything's in order?
Can't see the presentation. Oh, here we go. Yep, all good, mate.
All good? Okay, wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take you through our presentation, AI and automation, awareness and mindset, the two critical steps to unlocking the value for your business. The first step for us is to make sure we're all on the same page. We share with you what we see, and we read about all the day, every day, and every week we're reading articles and understanding what the landscape looks like. And the first step for us is to share some of that content with you so you understand what we see as the opportunity. What you'll see here on the first 2 points is that by 2030, in just 7 short years, there's been predictions in recent times about where the world will be and where organisations will be if they were to embrace automation and AI. Of most interest is on the left-hand side, the 25% to 46% of work activities can be automated. That's a significant, as you can imagine, a significant increase in probably the workload that is happening at the moment. A significant increase, in the opportunity that automation presents to the workload that's happening at the moment. 1/3 of activities in 60% of jobs can be automated. And a huge increase in productivity is genuinely possible. And you'll see some statistics we give you on what we've delivered for clients where you see this is absolutely true. So with that landscape, and that was in 2019, the McKinsey report in 2023 confirmed these numbers and also went a little bit deeper. They said that there's over 100 million workers across 8 economies who are likely to be impacted in the next 7 years, a significant global challenge and opportunity. But most importantly, I think we'll all agree that after COVID, with work from home and digital processes to be able to work remotely or get work done with the AI revolution that's happening, there's a faster adoption of digital and technology than ever before. And what we'd like to then tell people is what we're seeing. What does that really mean from an impact on people perspective? And this is quite interesting, some statistics recently, that 34% of workers are seeing a change in their role. 77% of business leaders are saying they need to hire employees with more critical thinking capability because the original, role for some of these employees might have been to do the work. Now that doing is now being done for them. And so we need staff to become better at being human as opposed to being robots acting like humans. Humans acting like robots. And through to the investment. 78% of people are planning to invest in automation in the coming few years. And they also believe significantly, it's a very high percentage, 85% of people believe that automation can reduce their turnover. Why? Because as the generations come through the working ranks, many people don't want to be doing the boring manual repetitive tasks. Many people know that can be automated if only their organisation they work for could embrace some more technology in the right way at the right time, which we'll talk about later. So it's a staff retention policy can actually include embracing some of this automation and allowing staff to realise their potential in the workforce. Now, just to take you quickly to some AI stats, because I know that's of high interest to a lot of our audiences that we talk with. And we've just got a range of things to point out here. Clearly, the fastest adoption of technology in history has occurred in this last 12 months. Since November last year to about March or so of this year, the adoption of ChatGPT and AI since then has been absolutely significant, the fastest ever in history. More than 5,000, it's actually nearly up to 7,000 AI tools now exist. The interesting thing is it's impacting knowledge workers, not just people that were doing processes, as it has over the last 3 to 4 years. But now knowledge workers don't have to be replaced, but they can certainly be augmented by helping them do their work through AI. And some statistics here are very interesting, through to the last one, which I really, from all the research we do, participation in these conferences and speaking at things, we actually fundamentally believe this in Data Interactive, that the next 7 years of business will define the next 100 years. So the next 7 years in the business world will define the next 100 years of how businesses operate, due to the embracing or not of technology. For those that remember, it's like, should you embrace the internet and have a website or not? And there's those businesses that have a web presence or they don't. And we know that the future, with benefit of hindsight, was that you needed an internet presence to exist in the modern economy. So the first step for us today, right now, is to check that our discussion forum button is working on your panel. And so we had a question for you. With what you've just heard and with your own experiences in this space, would you mind would you mind putting in the discussion forum chat either the word invest or hold, depending on whether you think now is the time to be investing in AI and automation? And this little exercise, we'll just give it 10 seconds or so. This just helps us make sure the system is working with the discussion forum, and also helps us get a temperature of the audience. And Mike, I might just ask you to comment if there's any answers coming through. Invest or hold? Are we seeing any responses at the moment?
We've had lots, mate, and I'd say the vast majority are considering to be investing, and I guess we're assuming that's in the short to medium term, but yes, almost to the person.
Okay, wonderful. And look, for the audience, please know this is a motherhood sort of question, and we feel the answer is to invest as well. Sometimes people, especially in local government, have been telling us it's really a challenge. They sort of know they need to invest, but you've got these system changes and you've got these new versions of platforms that are coming in, and will that solve all my problems? So we're actually, while it looks like a motherhood question, we're actually hearing from your colleagues in the local government space, in recent interviews we've done, that invest or hold is actually an issue that has to be managed from a budgeting point of view, due to the promise of future system upgrades that might be 12 months to 3 years away. We'll address this and give you a roadmap for how to move forward on that very question during this presentation. So another quick question, just to get us a bit more of a temperature of the room, and the type of audience we'd have here today, finance or non-finance personnel. If you were to invest, would you please put into the discussion forum chat what area in your mind needs to go first? Would it be finance? Would it be accounts payable and receivable? Would it be management accounting, month-end reporting? Would it be not finance, HR, onboarding, customer service, procurement, and logistics? Let's give that a few minutes there, Mike, or not a few minutes, a few seconds. What are we seeing coming through, please, buddy?
Customer service, accounts payable, accounting system. A few that have come in, accounts payable. Governance, that's an interesting one, which we can touch on later. Yeah, look, on the governance front, financial... Asset accounting, general management accounting, reporting, AP. Yeah, okay. I think we're customer service. I think we're covering all the areas there. So that's really good.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much. Again, when we can't actually see you, which we'll be happy to meet with you, any of you in person, but when we can't see you, thank you so much for participating in the session and putting that in the chat. We'll be addressing some of those issues, all those topics as we go through. So with that in mind, we should invest, and there are already some hot topics that, if I had the money or had the time, I would invest. Let's take that forward about what we see is the urgency to embrace AI and automation in local government. And on the left-hand side here, the question really is to invest or not to invest, quite a Shakespearean sense. We thought we might just highlight, the cost of not investing first, which is our cost to serve with increases in increases in CPI and inflation and wages, and even the skill shortage pushing up the prices of some of the skills. The cost to serve our customers and our ratepayers certainly is going to be going up, not down. So if we don't invest, we have to live with that. We will have to continue to live with inefficient and slow processes in some organisations. And certainly from a HR wellness or people wellness point of view, which is really important to us here at Data Interactive, we do see that the continuation of manual processes will continue key person risks and continue to keep workforces stretched and stressed, which is obviously not something that any of us really want for our people. Alternatively, if we do invest in AI and automation, financial sustainability, genuine financial sustainability can become more achievable because our cost to serve is lower and we can do more with the technologies that we invest in. And we'll touch on that shortly. We do start to address the skill shortage and can attract some skills because we are more modern and enabled through automation. Productivity certainly goes up, and you'll see that in some of our statistics. And a surprising part for a lot of people is that by investing in automation, the cost of a process can become a lot lower, and the technology itself is more affordable than it ever has been. And I think they'll only continue. So interesting results of choosing to invest today or wait and invest tomorrow. But certainly the benefits are there and stacked very highly in we should invest. And here's some statistics. When you get a copy of these slides, feel free to have a look at these statistics. It's quite interesting to find a study on Australia's automation opportunity, and you'll see some similar numbers there. The 25 to 46% of the workforce capacity or can be impacted by automation, which I see as a huge opportunity because we can get humans being better at being humans and connecting and collaborating.
And I think one of the key messages we've been hearing about, Mike, is that as people are implementing major investments in ERP systems, new modules, and that sort of thing, which does have functionality and a plan to fix some of the processes that are occurring today. Many of the conversations we're having is it's been an either or scenario between that investment that's coming in 12, 18, 24 months time versus something that can be nimble and more cost effective in the short term, but I may not need it in a year or 2 years time, where we're saying both can coexist as opposed to an either or scenario, which allows you to get scale, culture shift and productivity today with a payback and still be working on that ultimate end game from a legacy or ERP system perspective. So keep that in mind, everyone, as we're going through today's conversation.
Yeah, it's an absolute, really valuable point that Mike makes there. And as we go on to a roadmap, we'll touch on that a little bit further because a lot of the questions people might have is, as Mike said, the ERP changes are coming, what should we do? And we have this view that you can have strategic automation goals, but you can apply those in a tactical manner. So, and how do you do that? The first step to that automation roadmap is to understand why. And again, these are not motherhood questions because we're going to go a little deeper for you. We need to understand why we're automating or using these new technologies, and make sure that why is aligned not just with a tech plan, a technology roadmap, but with our business strategic plan about serving more customers or the increase in the population in our geography, the increased questions from ratepayers, etc., or demands from property developers on your organisations in terms of expansion. So we need to understand why and what's going to be moving and what we need to focus on from a business strategy perspective, and then bring in automation as one of the levers we can use to help deliver on that why. The second step for us that we strongly recommend is the benefits. Before you touch automation, before you invest in even companies like us or in technologies, if you understand your why, you can then start to say, well, if I could achieve those outcomes in terms of more productivity and handle more customer inquiries, if you like, from ratepayers, what are the benefits? We could have more time to do more conversations with customers. We can add more value to ratepayers. We can do better accounting records and better decision-making maybe on the finance function, etc. So if we automate, what will be the benefits we can unlock? And then this is a really interesting question. What comes next? So we're saying before you touch the technology, before you invest too much money and have to then get an ROI, which will be fine, we'll get the ROI. But think about what are you going to do with the opportunity that you've unlocked before you even unlock it? So with the time saved, the 4 hours every week that might no longer be needed because the reports are done automatically, a month end that can go from 3 or 4 days down to 1.5 days. What comes next for those people that are going to be unlocked through automation, and start thinking about that plan of attack, because the steps 4 and 5 are really key. If you start sharing the vision with your people in the right way, enabling them to unlock themselves and help them take the organization forward, you can absolutely create momentum, step 5. If we don't, if automation is done to the workforce, in our experience, you can have some challenges that need to be overcome compared to understanding why, understanding benefits, determining what needs to be done with the time saved, how it's going to be used, and then communicating that by sharing your vision. That formula really does lead to creating momentum for an organization, and certainly is what we do with all our clients, and how we help them unlock themselves, really. We're just the facilitator. So let's now move on to a slightly different topic, which is the toolkit. We say, okay, here's all these nice things that can be achieved. We can create momentum, but how? Where do we start? And so what we have here in the middle of the screen is actually a mechanic's toolbox, or builder's toolbox. It might be a little bit of a funny graphic to look at, but we needed to use it because we want to pull out a few things for you and explain to you what we do with clients and what you can do yourselves, to be honest, in taking on this journey of digital transformation through automation. So step 1 is process discovery, and step 2, process mapping. Those first 2 initial steps are, in our view, absolutely critical to unlocking the potential of automation and AI in any business. The reason being, you can understand the current state, understand the problem, re-engineer the process if needed, but you can, on a piece of paper, or we use some digital tools to do this, some digital process mapping tools, but you can understand current state and the future state, what time might be saved, what role might have be unlocked, what the straight-through processing could actually look like if it was all digitized. You can start identifying current state, future state, and benefits of automation before touching the tech. And what that does, it really helps drive a stronger business case when you need to get approval, given that all of our organizations have competing priorities all the time. We do need a strong business case and a strong understanding of the problem we're trying to solve before we start getting caught up in the technology side of things. Because in our view, the technology always works. You know, we have not touched a project, and I'm sure many of our competitors don't touch projects with technology and not deliver. The technology works. It's, can you unlock yourselves and have a roadmap where the executive support through the business case is there to support the journey? Because on some of these technologies, there are phrases you'll see at the end of our presentation about some things to watch out for and mindset. And one of those is fail fast. Use the technology, build out some systems, and then iterate and refine if needed. That is an acceptable part of the technology solution. And when you're dealing with nimble tools like AI and automation, as opposed to big ERP investments. So let's just go through some of those tools just quickly. There's after we discover and map the processes, then often we're finding that there's so much opportunity using online forms and workflow. So digitizing the collection of data from people and then automating the workflow of that data or decision-making process through your organization. That can lead to document generation, so automatically generating a letter. If we look at, from an accounting point of view, vendor onboarding a new supplier, an online form that gets their information, their bank details, maybe a human to ring up and check the bank details are the right ones, all those nice checks and balances. But then the workflow, which ends up sending them an automatic letter saying, welcome to our organization, here's your vendor number, etc., can become fully automated. And we've done many of those projects with clients. If I go to the right-hand side here, we've got Excel automation, data wrangling and dashboards. This whole top quadrant of this slide really talks about a lot of the work accountants do and financial analysts do in businesses or management accounting. And honestly, so much of that work where it's the same month-end process every month-end, the same data being downloaded, data being wrangled, Excel files being created, or some dashboards maybe being created. That can all, or most of it, can be automated, and you'll see some examples in a moment. There is a topic called robotics, which has been around for about 5, 6, 7 years. We've been using it for 8 years in our business, and it can mimic the keystrokes and mouse clicks of a human. So in other words, if there is a step or process that you feel is too involved and to explain, but a human is actually doing all the mouse clicks or keystrokes, robotics is one of the tools we use in our toolkit to unlock the value of automation for clients. And chatbots. Chatbots have often been thought of as good originally, about 5, 10, 15 years ago. Then they became a real headache because they don't really always work. But now what we'd like to let you know, the real opportunity here is with AI coming onto the scene, all these tools, all these processes can be AI enhanced or AI powered, and including particularly the chatbot space, where there's AI powered chatbots that we are building now, where you don't need to predict the question the customer's going to ask and then give the chatbot the answer. You don't need to build out a long decision tree of all if this, then that question and answers. We use your knowledge base connected to ChatGPT's smart language, large language model, the smart reasoning engine, and we unlock excellent customer service experiences for clients through leveraging AI, but against your knowledge base of your answers and your content. And that can give a significant increase to customer service productivity by reducing the number of calls or other things that might need to come to customer service. It can also be used internally. HR onboarding chatbot, vendor onboarding chatbots, etc. They're both internal and external use cases for the AI-powered chatbots, just like the AI-powered data wrangling, etc. is so powerful now, which we can talk about more in question time if needed.
It's also the downloading of subject matter expert knowledge as well into that sort of environment where, you know, as there's people in every organization that are the experts in a particular topic, and if there's many ways that you can get information out of their heads and into systems, and you're almost like having a conversation with them when you're training new people, bringing people on board to be able to tap into their knowledge and experience. That's another powerful way of leveraging the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And even actually looking at just dashboards, the quick point there would be, and we'll show one of these dashboards now in the tools demonstration, but the AI-powered dashboard that we use in our business, it has, so it's a dashboard, sorry, with AI built into it. And so you can chat with your data, ask the data a question, show me sales by this region or by, you know, cost by this, by that, and it spins up the graph for you automatically. So very powerful stuff. Again, happy to talk about it more in question time. We're going to do a quick snapshot now of 4 or 5 tools or use cases where we've unlocked some real value to give you some practical feel for what's possible. We've talked about, you know, the opportunity that's coming. We've talked about how the roadmap and the thinking you need to have. We talked about tools, but it's always useful to say, well, what really does that all mean? And so we're going to go through these use cases just fairly quickly, and you can come back to any of them in question time. And I'll get Mike's great experience here as well with the practical side of things as I bring this up. So, Mike, I might just give a quick overview and then please grab any comments from you.
Yeah, go ahead.
This solution here was for, and we have the permission from our client to share this because it was a really wonderful project. But this was where a bot goes into the ATO portal, logs in on behalf of the customer with the customer's authority, and the human has to do 1 or 2 steps for security. But then it goes through, it looks through the data in the ATO portal and downloads the relevant files that match a particular sequence or criteria, renames the files in their folder, and then goes on and does further steps. So this was about 700, 800 records, I think, a day for memory. If you look at the stats over here on the right-hand side, on average, 3 minutes of human intervention each day to begin the process, but otherwise it was fully automated. And look down the bottom here. In a 2-hour period, we did a side-by-side test here. We had a race, the human versus the bot, and the human did 24 documents downloaded, proper naming, file naming conventions and saving over 24 hours, because it's not just downloading, there's a few steps to do. And the bot was able to do 100 of the same process steps in that same time. And it was running in the background, so the human could actually do other work while this was happening. Mike,
so
any comments on that?
You're talking about 40 to 50,000 pieces of correspondence for this company's customers every year. The savings were approximately $150,000 a year, and it freed up about 4 individuals inside the organization who were doing nothing all day but logging into the portal, clicking on a customer's account, seeing if there was any documents there that needed to be downloaded, clicking the download, saving, and then moving on to the next document. So the freeing up of those individuals to do much more important things was critical. The feedback from them was excellent because they really hated doing it. And then there was the financial benefit. So what else could we be putting these, junior accountants or administration people to be doing to actually generating revenue for the firm? So there was all sorts of positives that came out of what was a complex but relatively straightforward implementation.
Excellent. We'll move on now to Excel automation. For all the accountants here or finance personnel that are on this, which is our main audience, I'm sure, for today, hopefully you'll find this very interesting and helpful. What we did in this process was we process mapped the process like we talked about earlier. And the interesting thing here is, I know it's going to be hard to see, but this swim lane in a process map was a human doing a range of tasks, about 8 or 9 tasks sequentially, because the human can only do one thing at once, download some data, wrangle the data, look at some different cost centers, etc. Where it was moved to in the future state process map was this actually says automation solution swim lane. So all these steps became automated, or in this one was automation plus human, because there was some interactions where the human had to make some decisions, send it back to the automation, etc. But if you look at a fully manual process, sequential, through to fully or partly automated with a bit of enhancements from human, and then look over here, it's just staggering, and it was a wonderful result for this client with 2,800 hours saved. And I like to just call out that even there's large councils, I'm sure, and smaller entities on this in the audience today. But even if this was 10% of this number, 280 hours saved, and your numbers were smaller, the automation opportunity here is huge, because it's not just one Excel spreadsheet that we deal with. We would have hundreds, if not thousands, in our organizations with a look at month-end accounting and other things in procurement and other areas, payroll, where we use Excel as our automation tool because we can do a formula. But really, once we start automating 1 or 2 Excel solution processes, the solution becomes very valuable, the Excel automation tool and capability, and starts unlocking even more value. Mike, any comments?
Yeah, look, this one was about the automated creation of Excel workbooks ready for the senior accountant to be able to perform their analysis. So data being downloaded, copy and pasted, move around into different tabs on a spreadsheet, getting it all set to go, and even doing a little bit of intuitive work around formulas and calculations, basically getting the workbook ready for them to perform their role. So they weren't doing the downloading, they weren't doing the copy and pasting, the file save as, the clearing of the data to create the next week, all those sorts of things. So you're actually giving time back to them to do the job that they're able to do, and that was the most powerful part of this, is because you really could free up those more senior people to doing more analytical tasks, as opposed to the cutting and pasting that they were doing every single month or every single day, quite frankly.
Yeah. And look, the last quick comment would be, we've got asset accounting. Take the word asset out if you like. Accounting expenditure review, credit card expenditure review, payroll related review of data. It is just wrangling of data, analysis of data, and reporting on data, if you like, was the core function of this process. And therefore, if these processes can be solved or automated, so can many of these other ones we just mentioned. So look, we'll move on, because while this was Excel automation and a significant gain for this business, the next one we want to talk about is data insights, where once again, it started off with Excel automation through to an automatic creation of a workbook with many tabs in the workbook. The client had always wanted to produce something like this, but it was taking a long time and a lot of effort. So we fully automated that process for them with mapping source data, mapping tables, and then producing workbooks. But the really interesting thing for this one was once they had time back and we could say, now you've got the data, how do you, we're taking care of the data wrangling, data preparation steps of your process. What about the data analysis and data insights part of your process? So rather than the human having to then go through all this and look at this and understand the data, what we then evolved to in phase 2 of this project was we replaced the spreadsheet or the workbooks with dashboards, drillable dashboards that showed the data in very helpful ways. This report down the bottom, for example, is showing some information by postcode. And when you click on each of these little pie graphs, you can drill into the data where, in this case, I think it was a car accident might have happened or an insurance claim might have happened in different postcodes. There's a whole lot of, and this was fleet operations data as opposed to financial data, but it doesn't matter. It's just data being wrangled and reported. That they only had the time to look at the dashboards and think about what they want, and then for us to help build that for them because of that first step of taking care of the automation of the wrangling. So in our roadmap, when we talk about steps 1, 2, 3, and step 3 was what comes next, in this case, what the automation unlocked was time to think about analysis and then start automating some of the analysis. For example, on some of these graphs, when a particular thing happens, say when this blue bar graph goes above the threshold number, an automatic trigger of a workflow process can occur. So the staff don't have to go and look at the problem on the graph and then pick up the phone or send an email. We then integrated dashboard reporting with automatic data alerts and workflow. And that just started unlocking a whole lot of workflow automation savings as well. Okay, Mike, any comment you'd like to make on that, mate?
No, we probably need to get a wriggle on, mate.
Yeah. So look, we've got 2 other quick tools to show you, which AI has been such a common topic for so many people. And we thought, let's show you one example of AI. So you've heard of probably ChatGPT and chatting with robots. Here, what is on your screen in front of you is a digital human. So that's not a real person. That is an AI-created human. And we're just going to play, I think it's about a 30 or so second video for you to see the digital human actually talking. And then I'll explain how it was created.
Hi, I'm Dave, a Data Interactive and AI-powered digital human. Data Interactive is a specialist business process automation consulting and technology solutions firm in Australia. We service small, medium, and large organizations in all components of their digital transformation and process automation journey. We deliver amazing outcomes through our carefully curated automation toolkit of 14 platforms.
Oops. I'll just stop it there because we wanted just to show you what's happening there. That is a digital human that was given a script to say, and it can be said in about 120 different voices or languages, I should say, many different voices, male or female. And imagine a video like that, maybe going to your ratepayers or going to your vendors saying, hi, vendor, thank you for coming on board. Here, we sent you the contract paperwork. And this is the process. This is what's going to happen. So rather than sending them a Word document explaining the process, the digital human is reading a script which is created at a click of a button. We have software where we can upload a script, choose the digital human, and send it to 10,000 people in a database or 100,000 people in a database, or 2 or 3 clicks, and the video is created on the fly and emailed out in a personalized video way, personalized message for those clients. So when you start thinking about automation and AI, what we want to show you here and on the next slide is it's not just about your current processes and what you're doing. A personalized video content creation in this example is so possible. And while it can be a little scary, about, oh, hang on, what's going to happen to the world? The fact is this technology is here. It is absolutely giving a better customer experience or even staff experience. And it's the opportunity is to embrace it and use it for good. Obviously not be worried and held back by the fears that we understand do exist as well. So digital humans, AI video generation and content creation is that topic. And really this is the same topic here, but in a different way. Here is a platform that we have built. It's the same as a number of platforms you're hopefully already using. Ours is called My Wordsmith. There's other ones called Copy.ai, Jasper.ai. They're worldwide billion-dollar companies. But what these platforms are doing, I just want to highlight, they are asking, in this case, an academic essay, or it might be write a business case. You give the chat platform some content, what's the topic, what's the information about the problem that you're trying to solve, or the information you want them to write about, and then it will write a business case, or write an article, or write a letter or an email. And so it's saving time on some of the thinking, the knowledge work that somebody might have to do. Once again, while people might say that is scary, which look how the world's going, the truth is, since November last year with the AI revolution that started with ChatGPT, this is only picking up pace, and embracing tools like this. For example, an AI platform for the local government industry, which we're thinking about building, where all the common financial sustainability reporting, the internal processes that you might have, you have a pre-built template and staff are filling in some words and then pressing a button, or through a fully automated solution, we could integrate that into people's systems. But the way to deliver valuable content, personalized and very well thought out, has never been easier. And I guess that's what we wanted to inspire or help you understand. It's not just about today's world, it's about embracing some of these tools to take us forward to the future of business using AI. So we will just take you through a couple of things now around methodology. Again, this is not, it is Data Interactive's methodology, but it's steps that you can take in your business. And from a mindset point of view, we're now moving into how to get the right mindset. We've gone through the awareness and education. We're now coming to the mindset. So the approach we would strongly recommend you take is something similar to this. Think big, start small, and execute fast. What that can look like is do your process discovery, educate yourself about the problem and educate yourself about the solutions with that before you pay for the tech, and then create evidence of those results. You'll think about your roadmap we talked about earlier. What's your why? What are your benefits and what comes next? And then act, create momentum. Once you've got that momentum, empower your people. In our strong advice is empower your people to come up with their ideas and give them the tools to the keys to the tools, and train them on some of those tools, because they will find problems to make their life easier in most cases if you choose the right people. Then you really do start transforming your business. And what we always say at the end here is, please make sure that in this AI and automation revolution, you don't create new key person risk. Automation mindset needs to be, we're automating a process. Everybody needs to understand it enough so that they can pick it up if they had to. So you still keep your systems and procedures, or your standard operating procedures. But we do want a knowledge transfer so that the person that built the AI or the solution doesn't hold all that knowledge. So a consultant like us, we don't know more about your business than you do. Your internal staff that might be a center of excellence, they should never know more about the process than the people in the business that are running the process. So please be careful of that and make sure your knowledge transfer, because the key component of an automation mindset here is to get the results but retain knowledge of how it works. That takes us to a segue onto process checklists. We wanted to give you some material that is going to be helpful for you to take all this forward. You will get a copy of these slides, a PDF copy, so you can scan this QR code at that point if you like. But in essence, when we are selecting processes for clients that are automatable and qualify for an automation readiness review in a more detailed way, here are some of the critical factors we look for on the right-hand side. Yeah. Do they have high frequency? Are we looking to go from paper to digital with online forms? Are there numerous steps in the process, etc.? Is there a key person risk we need to overcome? A lot of a bit of a checklist there of a lot of common problems that we see in most organizations. If you'd like to use this QR code, please feel free. It's a digital version of this checklist and a few other bits and pieces to help you calculate the savings you might be able to achieve. And remember, if you like, this little acronym, the IDEA framework: identify the opportunity, document the current process, examine it critically to see, do you need to re-engineer or streamline it, but then automate quickly, automate fast. And to finish up on a couple of slides around examples of results. For a small council, a recent project we did identified 18 opportunities over about 4 or 5 workshops that we did with them in different areas of the business: finance, fleet, payroll, etc. 18 opportunities were identified. The productivity gains in hours are still being confirmed by the client, but it was going to be easily over 100 across these opportunities. But we didn't want to mislead anyone. That it's still under consultation. But the really interesting thing is the benefits could be realised in 1 to 3 months. So one of the questions we get asked by people is, look, that's all great, but how long do these things take? Technology processes cost a lot, and they never deliver. And the truth is, with AI and automation, they are a technology project, but a nimble and very manageable and malleable type of solution. So the benefits can be realized quickly. You can do an online form and a workflow within a week, and away you go. It might take 4 weeks to do 5 or 6 processes, but you can get going and start getting time back to then make bigger decisions around your technology roadmap if needed. For large council, there was about 100 opportunities that have been identified and 12 currently in progress, as you can see here, and a lot of benefits there on the slide. And even in the state governments, a larger organisation, they started in a small way, to be honest. 9 manual processes where they wanted to, from one functional area, they wanted to digitise. Benefits have taken about 2 to 4 months. And you see forms, workflow, dashboards. We also would encourage all of you to remember the soft benefits. Business cases that are well written and well prepared in this space, given the competing priorities in business for funding. There's a business case about all these tangible results, which is great and really important. But honestly, the soft benefits are actually so large that they should not be ignored. Key person risk being mitigated, reliance on contractors in a number of cases. The scalability and the timeliness and accuracy can't be understated in terms of how important that is. And again, happy to talk about that further. We put this slide in our deck because we thought you can look at it later, to be honest with you. Just giving you more examples, practical examples of what's happened before and after and the increase in productivity, really to encourage you, to inspire you that this is possible. And in most cases, these were delivered in less than 30 days. So that's a really interesting stat as well. In less than 30 days between now and the 1st of December, say, what could be delivered if you had the budget and the time? And therefore, what would your world look like in the new year if you had automated some processes? So our last slide for this morning's presentation is this one, AI and automation mindset, just to bring it together for you. We strongly believe that a combination of awareness, permission, and alignment is needed to manage the digital change management journey. What do we mean by that? Awareness is sessions like this. Understand what's possible, understand what others have already done, understand what tools have proven, and get that awareness of the opportunities and potential. It's then important to have permission from the board, or in your case, the executive management and council chambers, through to executive management, through to the middle management, giving the people the permission to think differently, to try new tools and explore. And then make sure there's alignment. A shiny toy, a new tool, just for the sake of it, we strongly discourage. But a shiny toy being automation that is aligned with the business strategy is critical, because there's so much opportunity. We need to be making sure we're focused on the things that matter, which are going to give real productivity gains and efficiencies to your organizations. And so that's why the convergence of these topics in the middle, being prepared to fail fast and celebrate, giving people permission, having alignment, and starting with that awareness is the secret to digital change management. And we really believe that needs to be called out, because too often people choose a tool and just get on with it without really doing these 3 key steps. And in the slide deck, you'll see a couple of quotes from Albert Einstein. The world we've created is a product of our thinking. We cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Through to this gentleman who is famous for deciding or recommending that the point of singularity, where AI and automation start exceeding human intelligence, is going to happen in our lifetime. His original prediction was in 2045 that would occur. Predictions I'm reading every day at the moment is by 2028 through to just after 2030. But the fact is, AI and automation, as you all know, has exploded. And that point at which we can rely on those tools to help us do our jobs and augment us as humans in the workforce is here. And this last QR code, which will be in the slide deck, it takes you to a little app we built for you, which has some more information. It has a copy of the Digital Human video, in case that was interesting for you. You can show others around your organisation, and some contact information for us. So I'm going to pause there. Well, we've got 10 minutes to go, so hopefully that's on time, Tony.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks very much, Michael.
I'll just stop the sharing and back to you.
So we've got a couple of questions, and I'll start with the first one that sort of come through, which was the platform for creating a digital person. What was that platform?
Look, there are many platforms. If you Google digital humans, we've got an own platform that we've white labeled and we use. And I know, these sessions are not about selling our products, so I'm cautious there, Tony, of promoting our tools. But the short answer, feel free to reach out to us and we can take you through things. But we just invested $50,000, for example, in a platform that allows us to do this all at scale and pushing these data out in doing those 1,000 or 10,000 videos all in one go, connecting to a CRM automatically, etc. But just Google digital humans AI video generation would be my honest advice. So we're not promoting ourselves. And there's a number of tools that exist to do this these days. Some of them are easier to use than others. That's why we sort of have taken a platform and integrated to CRMs and other things so we can do things at scale. But please have a look. If you have any troubles, reach out to Mike or I, and we'll be happy to guide you further, or we'll give you more of a one-on-one demo.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you do have questions, please put them through, because we do have a little bit of time left. Just another couple here, though. In terms of, I guess, the AI, handling large amounts of data, obviously dealing with all sorts of different elements of information, and local government, particularly has a lot of sensitive data. Is there any additional risks around, I guess, data protection from using sort of AI and addressing that sort of issue, where the data might be located and all that sort of stuff? Is that something that councils really need to be thinking about?
Look, you absolutely do need to think about it. The answer, however, for you is that problem is solved, has been solved with some of the large companies. Even ChatGPT now releasing, I'm not sure if it's in Australia, but certainly in the US, ChatGPT Enterprise, which allows people to keep the data in the local, in their own private database and stored locally. We are building solutions for clients at the moment where we're integrating AI into platforms. We do what I said on that in the presentation there. We have a private knowledge base, so your data that stays with you, and we connect through APIs the ChatGPT reasoning engine into your data, not the other way around, not giving your data to cyberspace or the global platforms and then using the platform. We do agree with any of these thoughts that that is not the best practice way, and actually would breach a number of arrangements, I think, with taking data offshore. But you absolutely can do AI, use AI connecting to your local data source. And therefore, it's like, well, why? Wow, we should be doing that. So when the data governance concerns are able to be addressed, you can just see how much opportunity can be opened up there. And so as the global platforms are starting to release enterprise-grade solutions, companies like ourselves, we custom build those for clients, connecting into their data sets for them. Yep.
In terms of, you talked about process automation and, the reporting or the processing, obviously accuracy. I remember, I don't know how many years ago, the idea of scanning your accounts payable invoices in, and it would read the characters and put it into the right. Yeah. Obviously, things have progressed well beyond that. That was obviously in its infancy. But do you sort of see, and on your checklist there was a mention of some audit benefits. So, do you see in those councils, have you had any sort of case there where, there has been a significant improvement in sort of audit process in terms of that automation, or being able to actually access the data and the process through that?
Yeah, look, great question, Tony. Absolutely. And on our large council that we can't mention their name, but they're quite a large council, and they can we can talk to you offline with them, as they're happy to be a reference. But in short, the tool that we selected, so being vendor agnostic from our perspective with those 14 platforms, and now it's more than that, to be honest, we are able to choose the best fit tool for the use case. And in this case of your question, where Audit Trail is a key component, there's a difference between using robotics, the tool we mentioned, which is mimicking mouse clicks and keystrokes, opening up Excel and copying a formula down the columns, etc., and the mouse movement robotics or automation compared to some other Excel automation-centric tools, which is what we use in the large council and many of our Excel projects, because in those tools, the Audit Trail capability is second to none. For example, and it's in a human-like explanation. It's not in an IT script where you have to know code to understand. And that was, to be honest, the selling feature, or the reason that council bought the tool was because of the audit capability underpinning the automation. And so they could show to Queensland Audit Office, and this was literally the conversation we had, was QAO can look at the audited workbook, at the automatic creation of the Excel workbook, they look at the automation, what we call the process specification report, and see all the steps that the automation goes through. It downzones this, copies these columns down, etc., in plain English. And therefore, if QAO did an audit last year and they come back and look at the same work papers, if that work paper was produced by automation for the last 12 months, all you need to show is that the bot, if you like, has not been changed. Here's the change log. The script has not been changed. So if you audited last year, it can't be different from a process steps perspective because the bot can't change its mind. But not all the tools have that capability, and that's why we're quite selective in what we put in our Data Interactive Toolkit, because we need tools to be able to answer these questions. Not a tool's great, but that's a valid question from a business point of view, and the tool can't do it. So not all tools are equal. Audit Trail does exist. A good Audit Trail exists in some of the tools, and that's important consideration, absolutely.
Yeah. And we've still got a minute or two left, so probably time for one or more. But local government's pretty conservative. You know, there's innovation happens, I guess, in pockets. So what do you sort of see as the biggest thing that might be holding back, a broader take up of some of these tools at the moment, given that, the pace that is gathering in other industries and across other parts of the world? Is there a particular issue or something that you would suggest needs to be looked at first?
Look, what we would say, and Mike, I'll grab your opinion on this as well, is we see so much opportunity. We also see so much hesitation. And where does that hesitation come from? It's some of the topics Mike talked about, and you can expand on about, there's a new ERP version, or we need to upgrade. So look, it's a technology project, not sure if it's going to work. It's a long payback, so let's do nothing for now until the board or whoever has approved the bigger project. And this is where the opportunity lies, because we talk about tactical automation with a strategic intent. So get in and automate those bigger processes or those smaller processes, but many of them, like reconciliations as a topic, but from payroll recs through to, accounts receivable, accounts payable recs, etc. Automate reconciliations as a topic by build once in a modular way and replicate the build and teach the people how to use the tool. So they're doing automation to them rather than it's done, doing automation for them rather than it's done to them. And that managing of people, taking tactical view with a strategic intent and keeping it nimble, think big but start small, is what we feel is one of the ways to unlock this hesitation piece. But Mike, I'll grab your comments just with the minute or two we have left.
I've got a minute left, but I guess the key thing is a change in mindset, that this isn't a technology investment process. This is an investment in people. It's an investment in improving the way the council does things and therefore creating scale. And so looking at it from a very different lens is critical. Investing in an AI tool that may have only a shelf life for you of 12 or 18 months, but has a hundreds of % payback is okay. That mindset of, when we invest in something, that's it, and that's all we've got, and that's all that is there for the rest of the time, doesn't work in this new evolving space. And so giving yourself permission to say, okay, we're going to trial a few things. We're going to try some online forms and start educating staff on how they can use an online form to fill out their timesheets, not paper, or how we ask a leave form that's not just a Google sheet, but it's an interactive form that data flows into a data analytics tool. Those sorts of things are possible. You get immediate benefits and payback. They pay for themselves. So by the time that bigger system comes in, whether you maintain to use them or whether you don't, you've demonstrated scale, you've demonstrated benefits, and you've already started educating your staff on how to use and embrace the technology, even if that technology may change slightly from a look and feel perspective, but functionally the same. So that would be a key lesson that I would recommend that people change.
I think at the end of the day, just to bring it together, Tony, and keeping it real, is if any organisation on this call could hire an employee that would work 24/7, not make mistakes, all the benefits of automation, and that employee will evolve over time. Like they'll learn something, they'll get really good at that, and then they get given something else to do. So the tool keeps getting a use. So there's more expansion of the use cases. Would you invest today? If on Seek you found that person, that they have all these high-level reviews, they're 5 out of 5 stars, they're a great employee, they can work non-stop, etc., and you have absolute certainty it will grow, would you start small, think big, start small, and execute fast? In our view, and many of our clients' view, the answer is yes. So if we start not focusing on technology, as Mike said, but look through a different lens, it's a digital employee that's really productive, and not to challenge the existing employees, but take some workload off them, give them time back and bandwidth back. That mindset can really start people thinking the right way to getting out of their own way on that hesitation point. But also it's nurturing the conversation from executives down to employees is the other part. Digital change management doesn't start with technology, it starts with people and taking them on the journey. And we are a strong advocate of that sort of approach of consultative movement and embracing of these technologies.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much for the presentation today, and thank you for everybody who joined us. Just want to remind everybody that our registrations for our conference, 21st to the 24th of November on the Gold Coast, closes next Tuesday. So if you haven't registered and you want to come along, make sure you get onto that between now and then, because we won't be extending registrations because I think we're almost full. But you can go to our website, lgfp.org.au/annual conference. Today's webinar will be posted on our YouTube channel in the coming days, and the presentation slides will be made available to our members through our member library. So that's it for our webinar series for the year. Thank you very much, Michael and Michael, for presenting today.
Thank you.
And no doubt we'll see you in November at the conference. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Wonderful. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tony.